Video game cartoons. While most of us know about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show or The Legend of Zelda, there were plenty made over the years that flew completely under the radar. Here's 5 cartoons based on video games you may have missed. Bubsy. The game series Bubsy is kinda crazy. The first game was from 1993 and was created to be one of those totally radical kind of characters. Obnoxious and silly, which was the style at the time. The game was about Bubsy the Bobcat, who dresses like Donald Duck in that he wears a shirt and no pants. He fights against the evil Woolies to get back the world's yarn supplies. The games were never big sellers or critical darlings, but it became the series that kept coming back. So there was Bubsy in 93, Bubsy 2 in 94, Bubsy 3D in 96, The Woolies Strike Back in 2017, Paws on Fire in 2019, and Bubsy 4D coming later in 2026. To drive up interest for the original game, Accolade worked with Calico Entertainment to create a Bubsy cartoon pilot. The name of the pilot was What Could Possibly Go Wrong, which was Bubsy's catchphrase. The show had some great voice talent, with Rob Paulsen as the voice of Bubsy. They also had Tress MacNeille, Jim Cummings, Pat Fraley, BJ Ward, and Neil Ross. The show premiered on the Kids Day Off syndication package, which aired Thanksgiving Day, 1993. Rare tried this with Battletoads, who released their pilot on the KDA package in Thanksgiving of 1992. The Bubsy pilot shared a similar fate, as it wasn't picked up for a full series. Many years later, in 2025, the pilot was included in the Perfect Collection, which collected the first 4 Bubsy games. So if you want to see the cartoon as well as play the games, it's available on just about every platform. The pilot is also on YouTube. Mutant League. Mutant League is based off the series Mutant League Football, which was released on the Sega Genesis back in '93. It was a game built using the John Madden engine, and was a mix of football and warfare. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic future where radiation has caused humans to mutate. The world was then filled with zombies, and there was an alien invasion, and this is just silly. In the game, the players can kill members of the opposing team as a way to help them win the game of sports ball. These kinds of violent sports games were really big back then. There was the spin-off, Mutant League Hockey, as well as Dead Ball Zone, and my personal favorite, Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball, which, yes, I know that's a terrible game, but I've always had a soft spot for it. While I've never seen anything concrete, it's very possible the turn-based tabletop game Warhammer Blood Bowl may have inspired Mutant League Football. Blood Bowl had been around since 1986, well before Mutant League Football. They are similar but ultimately different, so it could very well just be a coincidence. Anyway, in 1996, the animated series Mutant League was released. They called it Mutant League since it combined a variety of sports, not just football. They also had hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, volleyball, sumo wrestling, and monster truck races. The show was produced by Franklin Waterman and Electronic Arts. In the show, the story is a little different from the games. In the future, an earthquake happens during a football game, which releases toxic waste that was buried under the stadium. The waste causes the audience to mutate, and they all decide, what else? To start their own sports league. Makes about as much sense as anything else. The show premiered July 2nd, 1994 in first-run syndication. It lasted for 2 seasons with 40 episodes. The last episode aired February 24th, 1996. There was a toy line released to pair with the show, but it didn't sell very well. Later in 1996, a few episodes were edited into a movie and released as Mutant League the Movie on VHS. In 2022, Sony TV's YouTube channel, Throwback Tunes, uploaded the shows on there. Unfortunately, they took them down for some reason. However, some nice folks put them back up, but the quality just isn't as good as it was there. Oh well, it's better than nothing. Darkstalkers. Darkstalkers The Night Warriors is a fighting game similar to Street Fighters or Rival Schools. The big difference is you fight as monsters like a vampire, a mummy, or a zombie. The game is a huge arcade hit, with the original, Night Warrior, Darkstalkers Revenge, and Vampire Savior, the Lord of the Vampires. The games were then ported to consoles, where they never achieved Street Fighter levels of popularity, but they've remained beloved over the years. This series also gifted us lots of cosplayers dressing as Felicia and Morrigan. A Street Fighter cartoon was already in production, so Capcom decided to make one for Darkstalkers as well. The games were known for their gothic look, sexiness, and violence, but for some reason, they decided to dial that down for the cartoon. The cartoon was co-produced by Capcom USA and Graz Entertainment, who were working on G.I. Joe Extreme right around the same time. In order to make the show kid-friendly, they dialed back all the elements that made the series popular and turned it into more of a comedy. The games had very serious lore, and the characters all had deep history, but that was ditched to make way for a basic good versus evil story. A review of the series from Games Radar said, "The show takes the characters you know and love and throws them out the window. They replaced them with the most idiotic band of video game doppelgangers you could imagine." Capcom had a huge amount of faith in the series, but didn't seem to want to put any of that into the actual quality of the show. The series premiered September 30th, 1995. It ran for one season with 13 episodes. The last one aired December 30th, 1995. A few years later in Japan, Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge was released. This was a 4-episode OVA released in Japan that ran from March of 97 to March of 98. This version was much more faithful to the games and has beautiful animation. It was later dubbed into English and released in the US. This was the show that Darkstalkers fans wanted to see. A few of the episodes were edited into a movie and released on DVD, but not the series. You can watch the full series over on YouTube. The Darkstalkers OVAs were released on DVD, and in 2022, they were restored to Blu-ray by Discotek Media. If you're a Darkstalkers fan, this is the version that you should have in your collection. Wing Commander Academy. Wing Commander is a space combat sim that started all the way back in 1990. It was about humanity's battle with the evil space cats, the ruthless Kilrathi. The series continued with Wing Commander 2, Wing Commander Academy, Wing Commander Privateer, Wing Commander 3, Wing Commander Armada, Wing Commander 4, Privateer 2, Wing Commander Prophecy, and Wing Commander Arena. Wing Commander 3 and 4 and Privateer were groundbreaking in that they had these huge full-motion video segments with well-known actors like Mark Hamill, John Rhys-Davies, Malcolm McDowell, Tom Wilson, Christopher Walken, and John Hurt. In 1996, Universal Cartoon Studios, in conjunction with Origin Systems, made Wing Commander Academy. It was a prequel to the first game. Wing Commander Academy premiered September 21st, 1996 on USA Network's Action Extreme Team Block, alongside Savage Dragon, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. The show had some of the cast from Wing Commander 3 doing the voice work: Mark Hamill, Tom Wilson, and Malcolm McDowell. The show also had some well-known actors like Dana Delaney, Ron Perlman, and Michael Dorn. The show ran for one season with 13 episodes. The last episode aired December 21st, 1996. The show was released on DVD in 2012. It was on Peacock, but I don't have that, so I'm not sure if it's still there. Some clips are on YouTube, but not the full series. In 1999, there was the Wing Commander movie. Apparently, there was a huge story there as to why the movie turned out the way it did, and I hope to be able to tell it one day. Revisioned. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider took the world by storm in 1996. The game was about adventurer Lara Croft, going through a variety of ancient ruins, searching for a specific artifact, the Scion. The game has her going all over the globe, from Peru to Greece to Egypt, and finally the lost city of Atlantis. She fights a variety of enemies, most notably a T-Rex. Lara Croft has become one of the best-known characters in video games, as well as a sex symbol, with countless models appearing as the character at trade shows, like Rona Mitra. There were 9 games in the original series, then 3 for the first reboot, then multiple spin-offs, 3 in the second reboot, and now it looks like the third reboot will be coming later this year. There also was 2 Tomb Raider movies from 2001 and 2003 starring Angelina Jolie, then the rebooted Tomb Raider starring Alicia Vikander. There's a Tomb Raider live-action series coming up from Amazon. In 2024, there was the animated series, The Legend of Lara Croft, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about revisioned Tomb Raider. To pair with the first rebooted game, Tomb Raider Legend, they made revisioned Tomb Raider. This was a web series released on Turner Broadcasting's GameTap service. Each episode was only about 5 to 7 minutes long, and it had different writers and art styles. The show started with a trilogy written and directed by Peter Chung, the creator of Aeon Flux. There were also episodes helmed by artists Jim Lee and Brian Pulido. The Revision series was created as a way to showcase different stories about video game characters. This was the first in the series. While the creators for each show were able to have full creative freedom, they were given guidelines to not have Lara do anything out of character. Minnie Driver did the voice work for Lara over the series, with the exception of episode 8, where Peter Johnson was the voice of a young Lara. The show premiered July 10th, 2007 on GameTap. It ran for 10 episodes, with the last one airing on November 13th, 2007. Since GameTap wasn't as big as I think they expected it to be, not too many fans of the game were even aware of it. GameTap's business model was changed in 2009, and the service was shut down a few years later. The entire series is on YouTube, and you can watch it in about an hour. If you'd like to be able to vote on things like future episodes or bonus entries, please join my Patreon. I'm surprised there never was a Crash Bandicoot cartoon. What are some games you think would make good cartoons? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.
Costume was out of date? Out of date? How dare they? It's a tour of cats, not My Fair Lady.